I'm your host tonight, guys. My name is Jeremiah Hughes. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be in any city, really, because a little about myself. I'm from a little poor town called Aberdeen, Washington. Oh God, you guys know how to judge me now. I'm scared. Yeah, you smelled the poverty on me, right? Yeah, it's not good. People that don't know I come from a little poor town, they'll take a look at a guy that looks like me and they'll be like, hey man, you need to check your privilege. Because not everyone's from a gated community, asshole. No, I was surprised. I'm like, how did you know I'm from the only gated trailer park in Aberdeen? The only other gated community there is Stafford Creek Penitentiary, so. That was the sad part? Okay. I'm not from the prison, so don't worry about that part. Everyone that knows my hometown, generally they know it because of Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. Like, that's where they came from. And as a kid, I was not surprised how bad the area was because I was also robbed at needlepoint a lot. Thank you, sir. Okay. It's crazy, man. Growing up in a little town like that, I always got bad advice, even as a kid, you know? Because growing up, my parents would be like, don't worry, Jeremiah, chicks dig scars. And I wish they were honest about what scars chicks actually dug. Because I have never once been laid off my emotional scars. No one's ever been like, you were raised in a trailer park and denied food stamps? Whew, we gotta fuck right now. That is so hot, actually. People generally know where I come from, Nirvana, but I like to travel around the Pacific Northwest, give a fun fact about my hometown, because we're known for other things, right? Because Aberdeen, Washington was recently voted the ugliest city in Washington. Yes, thank you very much. For the third time in a row. Yes. We are pretty intense about being ugly over there. Growing up in a little area like that, still got bad advice. I was visiting my family the other day not the other day, it was for the holidays. I was visiting my family. Got terrible advice in Aberdeen. They said, hey man, you gotta burn sage. Because burning sage is super good luck. But no one ever bothered to tell me that burning sage, I own myself, was considered really bad luck. And I learned that way too late when my cat died. So rest in peace, Sage. I'm gonna miss her. I've had a lot of different jobs growing up in that little area. And probably the favorite job I ever had growing up in that little area was I worked at a daycare. Finally, smartest dude in class. I learned a lot about kids working in a daycare because I don't have kids, but I learned there's two main types of kids. There are kids that hate getting dizzy and kids that fucking love getting dizzy. Or as I call them, the future alcoholics of America. He gets it. Have you ever seen a drunk kid or like a dizzy kid or a drunk adult? They do the same shit. They're like, more. And then when you cut either of them off, they just scream, cry in your face. We got some alcoholics here. We're pulling back. That's fine, guys. Man, I had to give a lot of life lessons to those future alcoholics. They didn't know enough was enough. I had to be like Billy. We puked twice. We bit Mary. We're getting close to what we call a blackout. Okay. Now, from personal experience, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to lay down and take a nap. Because if we keep going, we're going to shit our pants and get arrested. Okay, lady? I was fired pretty quickly from that job. I was fired from a lot of jobs, though, you know? I was fired from a job for, like, getting stoned and working and stealing snacks. Those go side by side, right? I was fired from a place for calling in sick too many times with herpes. They're like, Jeremiah, this is a reoccurring problem. And you have spotty attendance. I'm like, I think that's how herpes works, actually. I'm a fun guy to work with, you know? I got fired one time for drinking and working. Got called in the office, they're like, Jeremiah, you can't be drinking and working. I'm so fun. I'm like, who's working, am I right? We laughed and I backed my shit. It was a fun time. I think I learned how to have so many different jobs from my dad, though, because growing up, my dad had a lot of different jobs. But probably my favorite job that my dad had when I was growing up was he was an EMT or an ambulance driver. because he was gone for 24 hours at a time. It was great. He's also terrible at analogies. Maybe I should come out with that, because as a kid, how he described his job was he said that driving an ambulance is a lot like driving a taxi, except you didn't get the tips. Terrible analogy, dude. I think you probably could make tips as an ambulance driver. That would be a really hard situation to say no to a tip in. You're just fucking dying in the back of an ambulance and you see the little window slide open, and my dad's like, hey buddy, you got a little extra? Because when you say no, you're gonna feel the ambulance slow down like 20 miles an hour. It's a bad analogy. Logistically, it doesn't even make sense. Like, driving an ambulance is not like driving a taxi. I think driving an ambulance is more like driving DoorDash. Because the whole goal of driving DoorDash or driving an ambulance is you gotta get the delivery there before it gets cold, guys. That's three different people were like, that's a good one. So that means all the other ones were bad. That's... Ouch, mustache. That hurt my feelings. Man, I've done a lot of silly things in my life. Like, I had really bad vision, so I wanted to get the cheapest LASIK I could possibly find done. And here's a fun fact. Don't do that. Pay a lot of money for your surgeries. There's a lot of red flags involved in a really cheap LASIK eye surgery. Like, for example, the first thing the doctor said to me, he offered me a fucking prayer. Is everyone terrified? Because that's not the place to offer a prayer. You know? He was literally like, sir, I offer elective prayers before the surgery. Would you like me to pray for you today? I was like, look at me, doc. You're gonna need more faith in yourself on this one, okay? You're a doctor, Jesus was a carpenter. Like, believe in yourself. This is a bad situation because when I laid eyes on my LASIK eye surgeon, I quickly noticed that he was wearing glasses. I am so fucked, right? He was a blind leading the blind, literally. He didn't even like the taste of his own medicine. I was terrified. I wish I took the prayer. I should have took the prayer because my eyes turned out just as bad after the surgery. That's the last time I get LASIK done in a church in Aberdeen, guys. Man, I got bad luck with some things. I recently just got a new phone number, and I didn't know what to do because the person that had the phone number before me died. Yeah, and I was getting texts and calls for a dead person. That is weird. You know, what was weirder was the mom texted me. She was like, honey, I can't bear to delete this phone number. I miss you, I love you, fly high, mom. I didn't know what to say to a text like that, but I learned immediately what I should not have said to a text like that. Because all I said was, love you too, mom. And she was fucking pissed. I had no choice but to ghost her like her dead daughter after that. Just kidding, I sent her a dick pic instead. Some people don't like that joke, like, Jeremiah, that's punching down. I know 6 feet down I fucking count, so. Man, I like to keep up on science, I like to keep up on news, and I saw in the news that scientists are actually decoding whale songs now. Just in case if you were curious where your taxpayers' money is going. I just think it'd be funny if the first song that scientists decoded was just like a trap rap song. It would be so confusing if they just decoded Wet Ass Finn. Mark my words, you wait until white women get a hold of whale rap. Oh wait, Lizzo exists, my bad guys. That's where the line is. Got it, Dante, right there. I think every whale would have different types of music though, right? Like beluga whales, they have rap. But sperm whales, strictly R. Kelly covers the whole time. Some of you still don't want to laugh at that joke, and that's okay. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. Perhaps telling a more divisive joke here. I wanted a blood test done. I was tired of failing every test I'd been given as a kid, so I got a blood test done, and I was surprised at the results. Because it came back, I was 100% that bitch. Just kidding, I had hepatitis C. Don't laugh at that, that's not funny. I was scared. I made a doctor's appointment as quick as American medicine would let me in. So like 6 months later, I'm seeing my doctor for the first time. And he was surprised at the results, actually, because my immune system is so strong, it fought off hepatitis C. It said it came up like that because I had the antibodies, but I don't have the virus, I can't pass it on. He was amazing, except it's like I have a vaccine that doesn't exist. And I'm sure over 100 people are wondering why I'm bragging about having antibodies for Hep C. And it's so that you know I will be selling hepatitis C vaccines after the show, okay? One little prick from this needle, you will be invincible, ladies. So. It's not FDA certified, though, so. Speaking of little prick, I have a nephew, actually, and he's a good kid. He comes from a religious family like I did, and I try to play into his lifestyle, you know? So for like his holiday, last holiday, he came up, he wanted a religious Lego set. I didn't have the heart to tell him that Lego definitely does not make a religious Lego set. I just went out of my way, and I made him the one and only Passion of the Christ Lego set. And it's super realistic. He gets to like build up that little Lego crucifix, and he gets to beat the fucking shit out of Lego Jesus, and gets to hang him on that crucifix. That's his favorite part, because he's Jewish, guys, so. Sorry, dude, that was messed up. My bad. I'm gonna make the Lego Judas edition next, so that'll. Okay, we're gonna move on. I have a weird family. I do have a weird family. That's why I'm like this. I was raised in a trailer park with weird people, and half my family's from Montana. Don't hold that against me. And during the summers when I was a kid, they would take me to Montana, teach me how to be a man, how to scoop shit, buck hay, and do shitty shit. One of my least favorite chores at the end of a long day was that I had to give my aunt a shoulder massage. Very weird for a 12-year-old to have as a chore. And it was my least favorite chore, even over bucking hay and scooping shit. Because after a couple whiskeys, my aunt got a little too into that back massage. Yeah, this is Montana, guys, so. She'd be like, ooh, yeah. And I don't know what the hardest part of rubbing your aunt and she going, ooh, yeah, besides me. You know, like. It was Montana, that's pretty normal there. But I didn't like it. I didn't know how to make it stop. So I did the only thing I knew how to do in the situation to make it stop. And when she was like, oh yeah, I just leaned in her ear and went, yeah? Stopped her fucking dead in her tracks. It worked so well she still hasn't talked to me, actually. I do have a weird family. My mom would take me to a family friend's house, a guy named Eric. And Eric was a cool, sweet, loving guy. He was the opposite of my dad. So the feelings I had for Eric were really confusing early on. I went up to my mom, I was like, Mom, I think Eric should be my dad, because I love Eric more than Dad. And she handled it so well. She was like, shh, I love him more than Dad too, don't fuck this up, dude. Which is extra funny to me as an adult, because at 25 I got a paternity test done, and Eric is my dad. So, wanted to leave you guys on better energy than that, but let's keep the show rolling. Are you guys ready for our next call?